back to the channel. So in the previous video we discussed about the social action model which was propounded by Britton. In today's class we need to continue with models of social action, but main focus is on social action models in Indian context. So under that we need to discuss about institutional state model, institutional social model, social institutional, movemental, Gandhian model of social action. First one, institutional state model of social action. So institutional social action model means it is the social action which is actually initiated by state or government. So institutional social action generally used to happen indirectly, and the main focus of institutional model is the benefit of people with or without participating them into the social action. And the approach which was used for the social action by the states are usually parliamentary, representational, bureaucratic and elitist approach. Second one, institutional social model of social action. So it visualizes the social action by non-governmental institution, either aided or unaided by government. Okay. So in this social action, usually the approach is mainly based on the direct or with the support of people. Next one, social institution model of social action. So in this type of social action, usually people, self-help group or elites usually take the action for the changes, and they will actually take the support of formal organization who need to expose this particular kind of causes. Okay. So the fourth model is Purplist or movemental social action model. So in this particular model, you can see that the people are not depending upon anyone, not depending on any leaders or any NGOs. Here they are trying to make a collective effort, collective participation and continuous education for the changes. So it is considered as an ideal model of social action where the people working together for the better changes. So now we can check and field example. In a village of Rajasthan, they were facing the water scarcity. So what they did, they directly went to the development officer for discussing about this particular matter. Then he promised that he will try to sanction some money for the construction of well and hand pump, but he didn't keep his promises. So after many fallout by villagers also, he actually not done anything for the villagers. So what they did, they directly they thought of constructing themselves by the collective participation and continuous effort. So after the collective participation and collective effort, finally they constructed a well for themselves. So next we can discuss about the Gandhian model of social action. It has three subtypes. So Gandhian model of social action, it emphasizes on spirituality, purity of means and ends, non-violence as a creed and limitation of wants. Constructive thinking, mobilization, organization and action are the essential ingredients of this model, and people power remains the basis in all the three types of social action of this tradition. So we can check what all are the three subtypes under Gandhian models of social action. So the three types of social action under Gandhian model of social actions are militant non-violent tradition, gentle non-violent tradition and citizenship model of constructive work. First one, militant non-violent tradition. It aims at forceful intervention to bring about radical changes in the social system. It does not rely totally on the peaceful and mere constructive work done at the grassroots level. And it believes in redistribution of power and resources, and to achieve this aim it intended to mobilize masses to take action. Next one, gentle non-violent tradition. So the example of gentle non-violent tradition, we can say that the Satyagraha done by Vinoba Bhave for Satyagraha and village and community reconstruction explain gentle non-violent form of Gandhian social action. And it blends the component of social and the grassroots institutional. The last model under Gandhian social action model is citizenship model of constructive work. This type of social action concentrates mainly on the grassroots level of social action through the means of education, and this type of social action relies on constructive work and believe that necessary changes in the social system would take place in due course of time, and it rejects coming in conflict with the authorities, protest and boycott to achieve the desired objective of social change. So next we can discuss about Solzhenitsyn approach on social action. So the material about the Solzhenitsyn approach on social action is very limited. So I thought of explaining it bit elaborated way. So now we can check who is Solzhenitsyn, what was his main philosophy regarding the social action. Which all are the book he has written. So now we can check all these things about Solzhenitsyn. So Alinsky's Sol David is considered as the father of community organizing. He was born in Chicago. At an early age, he was very interested to know about the dynamics of power. From 1933 to 1936, he worked as criminologist. So while working as criminologist, he was convinced that it was social milieu. Social milieu means social environment of an individual causes the delinquency rather than some particular quality of an individual. After working as criminologist, then he moved to the South Chicago, where he found the number of people who want change. Solzhenitsyn also worked to bring the first major modern civil rights effort to Chicago. He organized White Worker Council in Chicago, steel workers in Pittsburgh, Indians in Canada. So many work he has done for the changes, and his notable work is considered as field for radicals. Moving on to his philosophy and approach. The first philosophy, he believed that the poor and powerless have the right to decide themselves how they need to live and what service they should get. So which means the right of self-determination. In philosophy, he believed that the poor can solve their own problem if they are getting the proper resources. And third one, in order to do this, the poor must have the power. And the power have mainly two sources. One is money and another one is people. But in the case of a poor person, they don't have money. The only source of power is the people. So they should organize themselves for getting the power of people. He believed that the basic organization of people is actually mainly for gaining the power, and this organization should come from the self-interest. And the poor people organization uses direct action method. So they directly conflict with the exploiter or the enemy. So he uses conflict as the deliberate strategy to gain the power. In order to do all this, we need to make a coordination among the people. So for making a self-interest or for making a coordination among them. Alinsky actually told, or put forward some method for making coordination among poor people. First one, healthcare. Control healthcare, then you control the people. Next one, according to Solzhenitsyn, is poverty. Increase the poverty of poor people, then you can control over them. So if you are giving everything to them, they won't coordinate. They won't come for the fight or they won't coordinate. So increase the poverty levels. Through the poverty, you can control the people and you can coordinate the people for fighting regarding the resources which they needed for life. Now we need to know about his famous book, Rules for Radical, which was published in 1971. In this book, he mainly focused on how successfully run a movement for change. He actually developed certain rules for this particular changes. So now we can check what all are the rules which he has written in Rules for Radical. First rule, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. And never go outside the expertise of your people. Whenever possible, go outside the expertise of enemy. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. Fuel is man's most potent weapon. A good tactic is one your people enjoy. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Keep the pressure on. The threat is usually more terrifying than things itself. Pick the target, phrase it, personalize it and polarize it. In conclusion, we can say that Solzhenitsyn's major focus was on destroying the individual who hold the power and attack the person who head the establishment and should justify the means, defeating the enemy. Lastly, attempt to change the structure of social policy. Thank you so much for watching my channel. If you like the content, please subscribe, share and like. If you have any doubt, you can mail me on this mail ID or else you can comment below this video.